game down just like that. We see the power of Fnatic. Of course, we talked about the draft a little bit. It's time to review how that panned out. And I think just like we started before the draft, we got to come back and bring it back to DJ and talk about that performance in game number 1 against Wings.
Oh yeah, he definitely had huge impact at that top lane.
Put some numbers to it, 14,000 hero damage. Next highest in the game is Spectre, who normally does more hero damage at 12,000. Your 4-position support does more damage than anyone else in the game by a big margin.
And it wasn't just his ultimate that did that damage, it was the early game. He constantly looked like he had 3 creeps. He'd have 2 creeps, one would die, and all of a sudden he'd have another one. So I just don't know if Wings just didn't block the large camps, but they needed to deal with his ways to get neutral camps because he uses them so well.
Yeah, it seemed like he was always there, like you said, always ready with 3 creeps and just always present. I mean, everywhere. Every time action was happening, DJ was there. It wasn't that he was kind of doing his thing now and then. We'll take a look at some of these replays. But like you said, from the very early part and, of course, all the way to the end, I mean, we saw a lot of that damage coming out, too. Again, you mentioned one part of it. Was it that Wings just maybe wasn't paying attention to the creep control here? But was there anything else that Wings could have done better other than blocking out DJ specifically?
It was the rotation to bottom lane with their 2 supports that actually cost them so much control. Because normally when you're going up against an Enchantress Beastmaster or any Enchantress dual lane, the first thing you're going to do is block out the offlane camp that's behind the offlaner's tier 1 tower, and then you're going to block off your own hard camp, just to be able to prevent the Enchantress from being able to take those things. But because of the fact that the supports entered up bottom lane, DJ got full control by the top lane by the time they came back.
I think they put just too much emphasis on pressuring the Spectre's lane. Spectre's a hero that you shove the Spectre down in terms of a little bit of farm. As long as she's getting levels, gets an okay time level 6, you're going to be able to get active, get involved, get your cheap, cost-effective phase boots into earn. And all that damage they did towards the Spectre gets completely negated. A hero like Necrophos, though, he doesn't catch up through fighting like a Spectre does.
I mean, he can, but he has to not die.
Yeah, I think God's put it really, really well. In fact, I think Wings, their general game set was to be like, okay, we're going to be aggressive and force the Enchantress into his own jungle, but most of the time, like a high-level play, they'll understand the next level of strategy, which is it's better just to fight against the Necrophos. Spectre can come back later.
Yeah, the clip right before this one was the one where the Wind Ranger was TPing and the Roche got aggroed by the Venge and he got bashed. He would have lived otherwise. That was the most lucky thing ever.
Yeah, just instantly shut down. But as we see, I mean, eventually it is Fnatic taking the lead. I mean, you can see it from the scoreline, you can see it from the plays themselves, the fight panning out. At this point, I mean, again, I think we come back to the same question I asked you guys in the very beginning before the draft started. Do you prioritize trying to ban on DJ at least a little bit, like mitigating the strength of DJ? Not banning him out, but like mitigating and slowing him down just a little bit?
I think it honestly just comes down to blocking the camps. Like, you can't let him...
It's more of a play thing in-game.
Yeah, you can't let him grab a new neutral camp every 1 minute from a lane that's right next to the lane. Like that large camp on the Dire side, it's right next to the lane. You can't let him keep grabbing it. That's the biggest way to do damage. Neutral creeps are as strong as a hero are level 1. Way more HP, similar damage, and a better skill usually. You can't let him keep getting those because it allowed him to offset and do better in a lot of cases, more than what the Chen could do in the early game, because you can't get as many creeps.
I agree with Kevin here. I think that it was definitely more of an adjustment that they need to make in-game. That being said, I still would agree with them banning away the Enchantress. I don't think you can't deal with all the 4 positions. I'm okay with them, for example, like leaving out the Chen. Okay. That's fine. But I think DJ's strongest hero is Enchantress right now. So I'm okay with that first 1-2 ban.
And the other thing we kind of immediately, when we saw the chance, like Chen into Enchantress, I think this game really highlights why Chen doesn't often match up well against the Enchantress. Enchantress is going to take multiple creeps to your lane. Chen does 1 early gank bottom, but it gets 1 kill. There's no follow-up play. For Enchantress, there's always a great follow-up move. Like, even if that gank fails, Enchantress is back 30 seconds later with another creep or 2. So there's this continuous aggression, unrelenting pressure. And that's something that Chen doesn't provide.
Is it perhaps that Wings maybe being a little bit too retroactive in the draft and waiting to see, I mean, giving even the strengths to Fnatic and saying, all right, what can we do from here? Like, what are our counters, rather than saying, hey, we're going to shut you down, make you pull out a new card, and we're going to come out with our own play in the draft?
Felt a bit like they had concocted something with the Necrophos pick that they thought was going to be really strong in the mid game, with the heals all coming together. You get a mech, you have Hand of God, you have the Necrophos, and you just kind of death ball push. That to me was the idea for Wings, but they never survived to that point of the game where their lineup could do that.
Yeah, I liked that pick if there wasn't a Pugna on the other side, because the Netherward really offsets a lot of the damage that you're dealing. Like, if Pugna doesn't have Netherward, he already puts out a lot of damage. And if you put just Netherward into the fight, on top of everything else your team has, you're not going to be able to heal enough with the Necrophos. And yeah, his ultimate is a counter against Spectre, but that's only if you initiate on him first, which is another problem. That requires you to initiate on him be out of position, the Necro also to have mobility items. Like if the fight starts like that and he can't buy back, great position, but getting to that point was a little tough.
Right. All right. Well, we heard your thoughts from game number 1, but it's not over just yet. We also had a chance to see what the fans around the world thought, and it seems to be a little bit in favor of Fnatic, just a tad bit. 89% to 11%, but I've seen worse odds. I've seen people come back for worse odds. So right now, Wings still in the matchup. We'll see if they can bring it back in game 2 after this break.
Whichever side you're on, enjoy the year's epic showdown with Smart Big Bites 50. Register for 3 days of free videos, mobile surfing, and more, plus the chance to win the ultimate Superman and Batman experience and cool collectibles.
Do you plead? You will.
Side with Smart.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!
Time for game 2 in our very first semifinal of ESL One Manila 2016. Fnatic currently leading 1-0 against Wings. A dominant performance. I don't think anyone will argue against that. But, I mean, hey, Wings got caught off guard yesterday. They brought it back. Again, I think the point yesterday we made a lot on the panel was that, hey, Wings seems to at least try to play much more securely, a little bit maybe safe on the safe side, but they want to wait until they know they can win, right? So if they're caught off guard, they seem to just kind of topple over. But if they can hold on and make sure they come in with a plan, they're going to be able to march forward and at least draw it out and put up a good fight. So hopefully we see some of that coming in to this game number 2. Now in the first one we talked about the draft a little bit. Will we see any of those changes in game number 2? We'll have to wait and find out, especially given who picked what side or which order. But do you expect Wings to try something just a little bit crazy, throw a curveball themselves, just to secure going to the last game?
They did throw that curveball last game. Didn't work out very well.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, again, it was a lot of the early game and DJ making a lot of space on the Enchantress. You can maybe give him a Chen instead. Don't let him be that active early. But I don't really think the Necro strat was going to work super well. It's a chance at working, but it's not super standard. I personally think the bigger issue, with the exception of DJ playing well, is the Spectre. Remove the Spectre from the draft. It'll make the mid-early game fights a little bit easier, and then you can potentially exploit your dual lanes a bit better.
All right, God, your thoughts on that?
I agree with Kevin that you can't just ban out DJ. There's too many heroes he's going to play. He's going to have the Chen, the Enchantress, the Hero Spirit, so you need to take an approach where you perhaps focus more on your own heroes, your own picks. The Spectre ban, one perhaps small change they can make, but big picture-wise, Wings need to have a strategy that works for themselves, and I feel like they're too reactionary almost in too many of these games. They also focus too much towards like the mid to late game, and they're losing these early game laning stages. We saw it against Complexity. We're seeing it again here today, where just DJ's early game presence, they don't have a player or like a hero that they use that really is a good counter puncher to DJ.
Yeah, I think that the way I see this last game is that it was a strategy that Wings drafted where they were thinking 2 steps ahead. And the problem was that Fnatic was thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead, right? Even just like the way that we started off, right? Which is the 2 supports from Wings going down to the bottom lane, pressuring the Spectre. They seem to think, okay, then that Enchantress is going to be forced back or something, but because of that, because of the fact that I don't think Wings were fully fleshing out that strategy and seeing how the opponent would be able to respond, I think they need to go for something that is a bit more standard, that maybe they're a little bit more practiced with.
All right, well, the draft has started, and to perhaps no big surprise, Fnatic still just goes ahead, takes the Enchantress and Beastmaster, but there's a change. Bounty gets through, and Wings is going to pick that up as their very first pick.
You know how hard it is, though, to gank, to have an impact on the Beastmaster Enchantress lane as a bounty hunter? It's not very easy.
Right.
I can tell you this. It's like some of the rules of this roaming 4 position, you want to secure your offlane, right? That's what like Blitz has been pounding into both me and Purge constantly as supports, is that we need to secure our safe lane first and foremost. And the problem is Bounty Hunter can do that against one offlaner. He can't do it very well against dual offlanes. And again, this is one of the strongest in the business that they've given to Fnatic.
As we go forward in the draft, would you have preferred to see them maybe take the enchant and then give it the bounty there? I mean, try to mix it up a little bit, or do you think, hey, I mean, you kind of just had to accept your fate here and give those 2 picks up?
I don't think taking the enchant instead is the option. I think the only way that Bounty can deal with that is if he finds Enchantress before the rune spawns and he follows her and he blocks her camp. And then she goes to the next camp, and he knows about where she's going. Then maybe during that time period, he ganks mid. Tries to
Okay.
get a gank off before she executes hers. That way they know about where she is on the map. They can prepare for it. Lack CS for maybe 30 seconds while she's approaching. Get some eyes in the jungle. Sacrifice slightly. That way her ganks aren't as effective.
Seems like a very long step-by-step process.
That's how. That's literally how you play roaming and jungle heroes. You have to plan that stuff out. Like you can really screw them over by blocking their camps as they walk there, because then they have to waste 20 seconds walking somewhere else, and that's already at the 30-second mark.
Yeah.
So it can make a huge impact. There are ways to beat him, but they have to limit his creep usage.
And to the extent they want to secure the safe lane, picking up the Witch Doctor in the first stage, you don't normally see like this 2 support picks in as your first 2 picks, but they very much like say like, okay, if we pick a core here, we get our mid or else offlaner, they're going to ban Witch Doctor. We won't have the Witch Doctor cask against the Enchantress and the Beastmaster. It's great against the Boar as well. So this to me was like a key adjustment for Wings going to game 2.
Here's the play. Bounty Hunter body blocks the offlane camp. And then they put the laning ward that also blocks out their own hard camp that gives vision. That's usually the play here to be able to deal with the Enchantress. Even then, though, even with the Witch Doctor and all of that, it's like they just like let them have this big problem, and they're like, okay, we're gonna prove to you guys we're gonna be able to deal with this. But they're putting so much resources into it that I'm afraid that Fnatic are gonna be able to focus on now on their mid lane, on their safe lane, and be able to draft a cohesive strategy that is able to deal with Wings a lot better.
You could perhaps pick a less farm-dependent safe lane, like go back to something like the Venomancer core, because part of the nice thing about the Venom in the safe lane is you don't really care if he free farms or not. He's just there to kind of come online with those utility items, get the Veil, get some levels, get like a decent amount of farm, but then it's the mid player like Dagger who's got like an Invoker or something. That hero banned out, but you put him more in that big like mid to late game hero rather than put the pressure in the safe lane.
With the Death Prophet like this, I think you definitely have to get an aggressive carry. You have to make sure you don't lose your Enchantress against the Enchantress Beastmaster, and you have to make sure you have a carry that is able to output a lot of damage quickly onto the DP.
Lots of demands for the side of Wings. But so far, I mean, they have some reactions, some adaptations from that first game. Of course, the Pundit Man also coming out, didn't like dealing with that one. Meanwhile, on the other side, Pop also banned out by Fnatic. We did see Wings picking Pop up yesterday to round out their draft against Complexity.
Yeah, that would have been really good here. I really do like Wings' first 2 picks. I think it's a good solution against what they played against last game, but now they're going to need to have ways to potentially kill the Death Prophet mid. As long as they protect, if they keep the Enchantress shut down for the first minute or 2 and Bounty's able to pressure the enemy mid, the Death Prophet, they'll need some other mid that can help with that and potentially even kill her. They need to get advantage there in the mid lane, I think, and they also need to have a carry that can do really well in the mid game. Because if you're looking at mid game right now in Fnatic, it's really good. They're going to have Roar, they're going to have Boars, they're going to have Enchantress who's 6, and a Death Prophet with an Exorcism. Those 3 heroes right now look terrifying for early game and mid game.
And if they really want, they can just pick the Spectre again. I didn't really see that being a weakness for them in this draft. The Darkseer's taking, if there was still a Darks in the pool, I'd say, okay, Darkseer, Bounty Hunter, that could be a big problem for Spectre, but Doom perhaps is the next best thing to pressure that lane, but even so, you don't care about Spectre free farming. It's the same thing where all you need is that early levels, you get online with your Haunt, and then you start fighting with the Beastmaster Raw.
Yeah, and I don't really like Spectre for Wings either. I feel like Death Prophet counters it, Enchantress is pretty darn good against it as well, just because Spirit Siphon is going to constantly scale through the whole game against him, and he does build tanky. So it kind of even lets Fnatic potentially pick it too if they want. They do go with the line though. Good disables that'll help against Bounty Hunter. They can interrupt Witch Doctor pretty easily. It's good for zoning Doom in the offlane as well. Yeah. So I like the line pick. It's a little squishy to Bounty if he's being dual laned, but that's good.
Level 2, sometimes you'll see Lions against certain offlaners pick up the Siphon really early, and I think Doom is actually one of those heroes because he has such a limited mana pool and he's so dependent on it with the Scorched Earth to be able to increase his survivability in lane that it's really easy for you to just single-handedly keep him a bit scared. This is actually a hero that I was kind of okay with seeing last game instead for Wings, because it was either a magic damage carry, right, or a Diffusal Blade hero. And Phantom Lancer is obviously a good Diffusal Blade hero. I'm still not convinced by their lineup by any means. I think that there's too many things that Bounty Hunter get done early on. He has to somehow stop the dual lane and also put pressure on the Death Prophet. They don't have a good support for the Witch Doctor is not very good at being able to put fast damage on the Death Prophet either, and Doom and Phantom Lancer, they're kind of slower damage over time heroes as well, unless they get a really good start.
Do you think there's
on.
any chance we see the PL mid, kind of like we've seen the hero go mid against Invokers?
It's specific against the Invoker matchup, because the way that you're able to play the Phantom Lancer is you're able to rush at the Invoker time and time again. You pick up the bottle eventually, you start throwing lances at him. I don't think you can do the same against a Death Prophet. You rush at her, she's going to just go ahead and Spirit Siphon. You have to Doppelganger back at that point. And it goes through Doppelganger.
Yeah, yeah.
What
That's
a, what
actually
a,
the worst
woo,
thing.
Spirit Siphon, great ability.
Yeah, you can maybe do it with the Bounty Hunter on your side, but even then I think it's...
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree. I think with all that said, yes, PL can't easily kill DP, but with Bounty, I think they can potentially kill her. And the better part is that he's going to be less vulnerable to Enchantress ganks.
That's why I like
you can
the idea.
doppelgang up cliffs, for example, from the mid lane. You could like surge to the DP and run a different way, for example. I think it's all right. It's not amazing at beating her in a 1v1, but it's survivable. It's okay against them overall. And as long as the Doom gets really tanky, which is good that he's off lane, then he can be the frontliner that his team needs, and PL plus Witchshark ulti can output the damage that they might need to pick off an important hero like DP or Enchant in the mid game.
Yeah, whether the PL's going mid or safe lane, the fact that you brought up that he is elusive to those Enchantress ganks you've got in this game, I think is a key adjustment, because Necrophos is just terrible at getting away from those ganks. So picking up cores that aren't as easy to kill off for an Enchantress, so you can just limit her early game presence, is kind of a nice adjustment coming out from Wings.
Yeah, the Veno getting a respect nod here from the side of Fnatic against Wings. As it comes down to this last, they just don't want that kind of surprise X factor coming out from Wings, trying to keep it a little bit more within their expected range.
Yeah, and if they did get like a Veno safe lane, it's really hard to gank and then push the tower, because the Veno wards are always going to scout you out before you approach that gank. And if you can keep your safe lane tower alive for a very long time, that means more and more farm for Wings, whereas Dyron usually wants to take those towers rapidly, and the mid tower so that the Roshan advantage is completely uncontested.
Don't you just go like Sven here for Fnatic? It's a hero that buffs up the Death Prophet. It's a hero that also gives you an innate cleave versus the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's a strong laner.
I like the pick. I'm just not. It's like not really a net hero that we've seen him on that much.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I feel Fnatic are always gonna, at least where possible, prioritize drafting towards their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm fine
You
with
get to a
Spectre,
last
too.
pick, and it's like, well, maybe you have to go out of your comfort zone to make your draft work.
And this is why we feel like so heavily in the favor of Fnatic when it comes to the draft, right? We're okay with like so many different carries. We're okay with Sven. I think it's a good hero, but if they want to draft towards the Spectre, that's fine. Comfort zone, that works, right? But Wings, I like need a really specific pick that changes my whole entire mind. I'm like, whoa, that deals with Death Prophet really well. That we'll be able to stop the Beastmaster Enchantress pressure early on. It'll be able to put pressure and keep Sven from farming up with his Helma Dominator. There's so many factors here that Wings have to account for, and I honestly struggle to see what, because unless it's I think a mid-tempo controller that just goes ham. But
I like that. What is that hero?
Right, exactly. I mean, it doesn't seem like Wings really has that answer either, right? And it is going to be
mid Phantom Lancer.
Okay. Yeah,
we'll
I mean, this is a situation you guys kind of mentioned, and none of you guys seem to mention it in favor for Wings, but it is going to be the last decision. So then the bottom line is, I mean, Fnatic once again seems to look pretty strong going into the game from the draft.
Yeah, it looks really good to me. You could even see their deliberation. Net was poking his head out, talking with the captain. Then it looked like at the end, he turned his head and he said, okay, gave a thumbs up. He's like, I can do this, Sven.
All right.
So I think they can do it.
All right, well, this is the draft maybe to win it, to go to the finals for Fnatic. Meanwhile, Wings trying to fight back for their life. They did it yesterday against Complexity, trying to keep the dream alive and make it to the final day at ESL One Manila. Can they bring that back again, or will it be Fnatic winning 2-0? Let's find out as we load into game number 2 with our commentators.
Indeed, thank you very much, Joe. But we're ready to see some more action here between the sides of Fnatic and Wings. And game 2, a little bit of a switch around. The final pick there this time for Wings. They're going to get the Spectre. Jacob, your reaction was what? Was it a good what or a bad what?
I was very puzzled by that last pick. I feel like they've gone a bit overboard with the melee agility lineup, but let's see how they put it to use. I mean, their lanes are pretty obvious at this point, but as the analyst was saying, I think a puck would have benefited them a lot more. They need some crowd control and everything. They're going to rely heavily on just executing ganks throughout this game and really have the bounty hunter come off to a great start and getting a lot of kills off with that.
I mean, would you agree, Ben? What was your thoughts on the draft?
I think they wanted more multiple late game threats. That's just typically, I think their style, just have a really good 1 and a really good 2 that scales in the late game. But at the same time, I mean, you're dealing with Sven and DP and most likely an Enchantress that is going to scale pretty well too. Do you think they should have banned Enchantress?
Not necessarily. I just think that 5, early game push, it's going to be very hard for Wings to even withstand this and
what do
keep
you
their
think?
towers up.
What do you think they think their lineup's good at? Like, why do you think they drafted this?
Ganking, definitely. It's not very good. in comparison to the side of Fnatic, who has everything, right? They have tons of lockdown, great 5-on-5, early game push. It's going to be very hard for Wings to even withstand this
Yeah,
and,
but
and
what do
keep
you
their
think?
towers up.
What do you think they think their lineup's good at? Like, why do you think they drafted this?
Ganking, definitely. The Bounty Hunter just running around, setting everything up, and then with the Doom later on, they need to take down these single targets immediately in these fights.
Oh, he's going to walk into a Sentry Ward.
Okay, just giving a bit of some here. Just forcing mid-one back. I mean, in terms of the lanes, you're always talking about the fact that Fnatic, they're going to have that kind of really strong mid-game team fight potential. Wings, in mid-game, they're going to be looking for the ganks. As this starts out, do you expect anyone to have an easier time at the beginning of this match?
Oh, Ohio pressuring Ice already. It's a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
with the
damage.
Porcelain as well.
Yeah, he had it really well positioned. He was on the far left, and Boar was on the far right, and one cast can own his creep, but not with that positioning.
And this mid lane matchup. So PL, one of those heroes that we see being picked up a lot of the times, obviously against the Invoker due to his strengths. I mean, are there still similar strengths in a kind of a PL versus DP matchup?
They talked about it earlier. It's mostly like you can't really run in on the Death Prophet because the Siphon will destroy you, and it follows Doppelganger, which is like that spell just goes through so many things. It goes through Invulnerability, goes through BKB, goes through Doppelganger, like Phase Shift, like all these spells that you typically feel very safe as a mid laner. So the merits of PL are limited in this matchup.
Yeah, I think the only thing he really can do is just get the levels, farm up, get a bottle, and trade evenly with as much as he can with her. But she's not going to be in any position where she's going to go back or fear dying, especially because she goes a bottle herself as well. That's typically one of the problems with the Invoker, that he's susceptible to just keep on getting spammed down by these Phantom Lances, whereas the Death Prophet sort of deals with that through, obviously, Siphon if they go on her, and then just bottle charges.
Looking at the side lanes as well, this top lane, this off lane doing against the Sven. Getting pretty much even CS at the moment between the two of them. And bottom lane, Bounty, just coming around. They've already got that nice ward, their Wings just to the side of this, so a lot of control.
Looks like DJ's ready to make his first move. He has a double Satyr combo.
I mean, if you are DJ, which lane are you looking to? Is it going to be, I guess the top lane catching out the Doom, that's going to be a lot easier than trying to go for, the PL at this point?
It depends. He doesn't actually have Doppelganger skilled, but I don't think there's any way that you can know that as the Enchantress. But maybe you can poke and prod. And looks like he probably wants to wait for level 4 for double Siphon.
Oh, he's got the Purge creep as well there. DJ setting it up. Scorched Surf will come out. There's your second Purge. He's doing it. DJ with the creep as well. They should be able to find in the body blocks. DJ in with the micro. He's done it. DJ there with the body blocking, the purging, the double damage. Fantastic play from the Ancient, as you mentioned earlier. Should they have banned this hero? It looks pretty strong for Fnatic.
Oftentimes, though, you want your Devour to be up if you expect an Enchantress gank, but at the same time, like, you need to use that spell to gain some control of the lane. So he didn't actually have it up to eat the creep, which is why I think there's like a little bit of overlap between the Doom and the Bounty Hunter. I think you actually want the Doom to follow around the Enchantress, so you can just eat her creeps and kind of always scout out her positioning. But now she's just creating havoc on all sides of the map. DJ maybe looking to get a double Centaur creep and wrap around with his Satyr Banisher.
And it's a bit of a problem for Wings right now. They can't really execute any ganks with this Bounty Hunter, which is really the hero that needs to open up the map for them. On the top lane, it's a Sven. He's really, really hard to kill with the heroes they have, and because of Warcry, just all the HP through him being a strength hero, and then with all the additional armor, there's not enough damage output. There's no spam.
Oh, we can see here with the reveal of the Bounty trying to go in on the line. Nice two-man stun. And now with the Sven coming in, a two-man stun to follow through. Moving in with the right click. Can they do it? They tried to dive on the line, but he's already got the Warcry armor. He's going to tune this one out. Cutting him up. He is free for free now. It's DJ coming on the rotation. They will lose the line, but DJ turning up to make sure that the punishment is paid. DJ turning up, turning that kill right round into 2 for the side of Fnatic.
3-4-3 just buying so much time through juking around in the tree line.
Really, really nice plays from the Enchant again. We saw DJ game 1 having such a start, in game 2 looks to be just as strong at this point.
And as you mentioned, like, the Bounty Hunter is just having so much trouble getting kills. They have a Sentry Ward on top, Sentry Ward in mid, and then Ohio's not even anywhere close to the bottom lane. He's just safely jungling with the Iron Talon.
And on top of that...
Oh, top lane, Doom gets stunned up.
Fnatic trying to see if they can get a little bit more. Scorched Earth regen out. Jan just a little bit too tanky at this point, and he's also got that Satire, but mid lane Wings trying for some action themselves, looking towards mid one. It'll drop the sentry, gets the Siphon off, and that's enough to stop it.
Exactly. That's the problem with ganking these lanes. Warcry on the Sven, Spirit Siphon on the DP with 2 melee heroes ganking her. Sort of a dream scenario for her.
Well, things will fall into place when Spectre hits 6, because like Bounty Hunter can scout out the heroes that are jungling, but no one can really rotate there easily without just completely giving it away, because Doom leaving his lane or you know, the PL leaving his lane to go to opponent's jungle is a very obvious maneuver, especially with that Observer Ward. But when Spectre hits 6, maybe they can get an easy kill on the Beastmaster.
Yeah, and one of the downsides of Sven is that he needs to scale, right?
Lane.
Oh, yeah, and there's the Horn straight in, looking for the kill on mid, and they'll get it. See if they can get any more. Oh, no, Spectre back out, but...
They have to be really careful with that timing, though. They did it as soon as he hit level 6.
Top lane, Doom. Just forcing back the Sven here, hasn't quite got the damage. He does have a blast. He manages to bring that down a little bit lower. It's putting a lot of heavy pressure out. There is, of course, DJ around the corner. We'll see if he comes in for the plays. DJ is going to start to look for this one. Let's see if they can get any more help. Doom around the corner. He does have a bounty. Turn around, munch down on one of them. DJ continuing to chase bounty, yet to reveal himself. Now, I mean, this is a hard kill for DJ to get this Doom incredibly tanky. Now with the regen, and 3-4-3 trying to come in to get the Doom. Okay, Bounty reveals himself, and Fnatic, they'll just take the easier kill. They'll take the easier kill. They're maybe not checking to see if the dust was out on DJ, because he popped it straight away. They're going to try and go for the Doom here with the Cyclone. Now with the enchant slow. Here he comes back with the high ground. In front of play, will be dropped onto net, and now he's going to be careful because PL coming in with the rotation, punishes one. Siphon onto the Doom, they will get the kill in return. And now Blink trying to find the Death Prophet with one. DJ, can he save mid one here on the Death Prophet? Turns around, gets the swarm out, double getting forward, but now he's got it back. Blink, he's got it run, he's got it run. DJ chasing it down. Blink trying to follow him, he's going to get one more jump shot. DJ on the edge of get caught it up on the ghost. Flying through DJ. Oh, the coconut comes back in, does take him down. But
5 other targets, bad luck DJ, so well played.
My goodness, and I mean, Wings needed that because that fight, you know, we saw the PL turn up for it, just get some action, but immediately Fnatic just shut him back down.
At the same time, DJ really knows no fear. There's nothing that he really needs to be scared of at this point. Maybe a Doom or a Death Ward, but Death Ward still not coming out for some time and only really dying to his only early game counter, the tower at the end of the day. But he was just running at the Doom. It's like, even if Bounty Hunter's here, I don't even care. We'll just kill him instead.
Well, Witch Doctor has skilled Maledict, and it's a level 1 Nature's Attendant, so there is some threat in taking a lot of damage from, for instance, the Spirit Lance, Shuriken Toss.
Now it's going to be Wings, smoking up. See which lane they're going to head their attention towards. Potentially the mid, but 3-4-3 and DJ actually smoking up themselves here, so they could actually catch Wings out if Wings try and commit for this one. We'll see if they try to move in. Fnatic come around, they'll pop the horn as well, they get the vision straight out Wings. They'll try and jump it on mid one, they'll drop the Doom as well, trying to bring mid one down, and they should be able to find that kill, but at the same time, coming through, they'll take down the Witch Doctor in return. Now 3-4-3 on the retreat, and this time it's Wings chasing down Fnatic. Can they get DJ as well? He's got the Nature's Attendants to heal. Would it be too much? And out of mana though, DJ's not going to be able to deal the damage out, but he does manage to keep himself alive. But nonetheless, again, nice usage of the Haunt there from Wings. They set up a gank, they get the Spectre in, and they come out on top.
Yeah, good rotations coming out from Wings as well. I love them realizing and recognizing that they need to put on this all-out aggression. Whenever they have the ultimates up, specifically Doom and Haunt, this is when they need to find at least 1 kill and preferably 2 or 3, right?
I can see that. It's going to take a bit of pop damage here from the Maledict as he did tank a bit of the tower and the cast. He gets himself back to safety.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
6-3 at the moment.
Fnatic's not doing a good job of playing around the Haunt cooldown, though. Every time the Haunt's up, Wings are just going all out on him in the mid lane, and even that time, Doom was up. So at the same time, though, they need some involvement from Ohio. He's been really quiet. He is level 6 now, 9 minutes into the game. A pretty decent timing from him, but Fnatic have been playing 45 for the majority of this early game. And looking to make use of the Roar immediately. Spectre Haunt down for 50 more seconds, but no mana looks like he might head home, but will he run into this train?
He's making a smart beeline just straight down the lane. He is going to cut up just here, but...
Good read by Shadow.
This planet, so we'll see if the side of Fnatic can still catch out Wings maybe in the mid lane. Net, he's been gone on at the moment by the Bounty and the PL. At the same time, Fnatic starting to come around from behind. Let's see if they can make a jump just to the sidelines. The smoke now dispelled. So it's going to be Wings getting the dagger out now. We'll see them actually try and chase down the Lion, who's going to hold back the Spectre for the time being. There's the Centaur Stomp as well to buy time for Fnatic to escape. They're still trying to chase, but still, Lion trying to kite them back, but Lion, he's been caught out by the Lance here. Lion, I don't think he gets himself out of this one. A 3-4-3 will be punished. Wings there with the chase down, they'll get one.
I actually think Ohio should have been there for the fight. I think they had like pretty good positioning. They had like they have vision on the top side and the bottom side. They also have like the high ground positioning too. Like if they walk up, they have to walk in a Spirit Siphon plus Exorcism and plus a Roar, which slows all the targets that are around them. So I think they could have easily picked up a couple of heroes had they been in position.
Shadow's going to haunt onto DJ here, but it's going to be a hard kill. At the same time, they did manage to find that kill onto the Sven.
Take down the bottom tower. So that's something for Fnatic, but right now they've given up way too much space for Wings. They should have been much more vigilant about having these Horn and Doom ganks coming through, and Bounty Hunter wasn't even 6 until now.
Yeah, I think like that's the biggest mistake of the past couple of minutes is giving Bounty Hunters level 6 track is just going to open up so many more possibilities for Wings in the next couple of minutes.
I think they feel confident, especially after the last game, that when Ohio gets that Necromicon, they can just 5-man and push the issue, because Wings have very little to defend with. It is still a Phantom Lancer and a Spectre that requires a good amount of farm before they actually do much.
They have a nice frontliner though in the Doom.
Yeah, well, we see at the moment the Doom still in the lane at top with Net, but Net on his items, he's got that helmet of tread, so he will continue to farm. He's top of the CS at the moment. Mid lane, DJ just holding back this push that's potentially going to be coming in from the PL. At the moment, things seeming to have calmed down now. I mean, is there a pressure on one of these sides to be more active at this point of the game, or are both of them kind of comfortable just letting this stage of the game sit out and play passively?
I still think Fnatic, because Sven's actually underfarmed. He's number 4 in net worth, and he did not have that difficult a lane because he had Enchantress, you know, babysitting him top a lot of the time. But he's only had 1 Ancient stack right now, and it's like he might not even get this one.
Yeah, Ice leading in. Net pops the wall cry, starts to retreat. Be able to get himself far enough away, so they can't lead in on that one. Top lane though, eyes onto line, and he's going to go for the TP out. He should be able to make it, yes.
Yeah, Fnatic has actually lost control on their top side of the map, strictly through the ward vision. They've done a great job on securing the farm on bottom lane for Ohio, but on the top side of things, they have no map control. There's nothing showing whether they TP in on the tier 1 tower, or even if they move in the top river. All of Fnatic's presence right now is on the bottom side of the map.
Oh, DJ pops the dust, but he didn't quite catch the bounty. And there'll be a roar out to fake, but the horn comes through, and that's Wings looking for one. They'll find Ohio. Can they try and chase for a second? Doesn't let him catch out DJ. But again, nice reaction from Wings, and using this horn. I mean, this Spectre finding kills every single time with the ultimate.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason why they lost the top lane control is because Death Prophet died a couple of times in the mid lane, and they wanted to be there like before the Doom hits, before the Spectre can get on top of her. And because they've sacrificed so many heroes to commit to the mid lane, this top lane is just a lot more free for Wings.
But this is also one of the problems with Sven in comparison to the Spectre, right? He's one of those carries that can't really participate all that much in the earlier stages of the game, just because you're heavily reliant on him getting farm as well. He doesn't do much, he doesn't offer much outside of that Stormbolt, and with the current builds on him, it's a level 1 Stormhammer, so that's a bit of problematic for how Fnatic needs to execute this strategy, because I'm not even sure they have the better late game. It depends on how well they pass through the mid game, especially going up against Track. Yeah, they still don't have Book up on Ohio. He's been given a lot of space compared to how little farm he has.
Try and get a bit more going in their pocket here with the push onto mid. Notch holding it for the time being though, Wings, and see if Fnatic can stick around to take this one. Side of Wings, they're bringing 4 heroes in. They are ready to fight if Fnatic want to try and give it some. Ice with the Death Ward available.
Yeah, 2 heroes already tracked up. This could be, like, if they do mid one before he gets his ulti off, this just could be a terrible, terrible fight for them. But this mid tower is only at 187 HP. They really want that down.
And the real strength we've seen Fnatic exhibit throughout the tournament has been them putting on the aggression. Right now they're playing reactionary, and they're doing a poor job at that. I think they've given over 5 kills without getting 1 in return so far. And their lineup really comes together as 5, right? They need to set up kills with Beastmaster, control through the disables they have, and let the Death Prophet take down towers. And they're not doing that. They're just playing reactionary. For the past 5-6 minutes, they've just been letting Wings walk all over them and do whatever they want around the map. And Wings have the better late game.
No one's scared of roar at this point. I don't feel like anyone on Wings is like, oh man, there's a Beastmaster that could roar me at any moment with, you know, some Enchantress.
Oh, Shadow. We thought we were actually popping the dust there, and that's going to be the Shadow. He jumps away from this gank and into another as he catches out mid one. DJ getting forced back as well by the Death Ward, and Fnatic just not quick enough there to get that lockdown onto Spectre. 3-4-3 will be lucky to escape. But it's another fight. The Haunts popped and another kill taken for the side, and it's a big one. Just continuously getting those kills onto the Death Prophet at this portion of the game.
And actually a slight misplay by 3-4-3 on the Lion. The hesitation caused that not only didn't they get the kill on Spectre, but he also went in on the middle lane and got the kill on Death Prophet instead. Again, Fnatic, at least this time they showed some aggression, but it just ended up them again reacting to what Wings was doing. And now Wings got another kill on the Death Prophet.
But now they have Exorcism.
Yeah, and Net, he's going to come in and join the fight this time, getting the stun out onto the bounty. Uncertain what should do, but no, he gets himself to the way, no, he pops. They'll find one. The question is, can they find themselves anything more here? And it looks like, not for the time being, as Wings very nicely disengaged. So it's just the bounty down. Fnatic, at least, they should be able to find this push, get the tier 1.
I think it might be a good time to go into Roche with the Ghost after this, though. I don't know if they want to do that or after the T2,
no,
but...
one still for quite a while.
Book 1 on Ohio finally as well.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I'd like to see them take more objectives, though, with the Ghost. I think if they wait for top, it might be a little bit too long. Shadow's going to have his ulti up in about 40 seconds.
DJ created so much space on the top and the middle side of the map that we didn't really follow what happened on the bottom lane, but I
know what happened.
I'm puzzled by
Iron Talon jungling.
Was that all he did? Because Witch Doctor actually rotated, so I questioned the decision to be in the jungle rather than just contest the Spectre on the lane and getting as much farm as you can out of standing there, because we're 16 minutes in. A book 1 is something you would typically have when you have a really, really hard lane, and he by no means were up against much competition on the bottom lane, strictly because of how much space DJ created in the other 2 lanes.
He was scared of the Bounty Hunter, so he had to play like a lot more safe in the jungle. Than you would normally. Yeah. And then the Spectre had level 6 very, very early on. So.
But even then, they rotated down, they pushed down the tier 1 tower, which was the, of the objectives that Fnatic has executed so far, probably the only good one. They are going to take the top tower now, so they're slowly regaining control again, trying to even out the net worth through taking down the towers. And this is exactly what they need to do, gather up, go around as 5, knowing that Wings have a really hard time dealing with straight up 5-on-5 engagements.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Beastmaster has just not really been a factor at all, and didn't contest the Spectre in the early game, didn't get level 6 fast enough, doesn't have enough items, but they're getting some towers.
They might actually push base now. There's a level 2 ultimate up on the Death Prophet. This is the strength of their lineup, right? We see it here. A lot of armor on them as well. On top of the Warcry from Sven, there's also Wild Ring Ripper.
Yeah, the side of Wings, they need to do something about this, and they're going to move it in the other side. The big one does, he's gone! Witch Doctor gone with this defense, but Wings now coming back in full force. The buybacks as well, they want to commit. I'm getting burst down low, can't quite get the roar out. That's going to be 1 down in return. Wings holding on, but mid 1, still with the exorcism up, pushing the side of Wings back and down the doom. Stun up for that, they're getting over, but they will lose the line in return. Mid 1, trying to turn and trying to continue to fight it. Can they bring it down in the spaces back? They'll get DJ as well, and Wings hold the base. And they punish Fnatic incredibly heavily there. 4 deaths on the side of Fnatic did cost them the buyback on the Witch Doctor, but worth it every time to hold a base defense like that.
Oh, especially because you get the track kills as well. Great play by Ice on the Witch Doctor, coming in with a Maledict that hits really well, and then the Death Ward taking down the Enchantress. Their lineup has a specific problem with killing this Enchantress because of Untouchable, but Death Ward doesn't care about that.
I think they were like, oh man, they let us take 2 towers without Exorcism? We're in a good spot. Let's do this. But they are not that strong. I still think this Roche should have been taken down by Fnatic much earlier, buying them some more time for Sven to actually get in the fight, get his Blink Dagger, get his BKB so he can actually hit some targets.
It's worth mentioning that Ohio ran in past the tower, died without getting Raw off.
Yeah, we saw him. He was going for the cast animation on Spectre, and died during it.
Doom cancelled it with the Infernal Blade, and then he went down much faster than I think he expected to, because he does have 1100 HP.
Well, now concentrating on the economic game, 3-4-3, placing 2 sentries around the Ancients, and managed to finally unblock that for the Sven.
Yeah, the next fight is probably going to break out at Roshan.
Did you feel that the Fnatic should be confident enough to go for Roche, or do they need to kind of wait for the Ghost so they can do it quicker, or You know, obviously Horn's down at the moment. Is this a window that you could use to go to it, or are you looking to find a kill first?
You're getting out-farmed way too hard by the PL with the BOTs and the Spectre. Like
Yeah, but I question whether they can take the fight without the ghosts. They probably can because of Sven as well. Like when they fight in a confined space, that is where God Strength really comes into play, and having that all that damage output, it's still way too much for both the Spectre and the Phantom Lancer to handle.
Like Cask will own them in the pit though, but I think they have to do it. They have the Ench and the Beastmaster. Those two heroes alone can take it out. It might take some time, but easy tank and a lot of damage with the Inner Beast.
Innocent on the Bounty Hunter picking up the mechanism now though, so that really will help them a lot in these 5-on-5s. Because there is none on the side of Fnatic, and there's no outlook of having one.
Nature's Attendance, great substitute.
It's going to be a blink done now on the Sven, as you guys suggested, so see in the next fight if Fnatic are able to jump on it and kind of get the big initiation. I mean, if you're looking at Wings lineup, if you're Fnatic, who are you ideally jumping on first at the start of the fight and taking down before they can get anything on?
Witch Doctor,
I think Witch Doctor.
Yeah, I like taking him down. Almost all of their control is strictly through the coconuts, so...
Yeah, and no BKB on Sven, so like he's going to get kited really hard. Coconuts, and then you have the Diffusal Blade, like Spirit Lance and Spectral Dagger. Like all these spells are going to be very difficult, make it very difficult for him to maneuver around the team fight.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a top push again, it seems. I think regardless, any kill they will get off immediately. Like if they can blow one up and play a 4 versus 5, that'll benefit them greatly. It doesn't matter who they kill.
I can see at the bottom, TP backs coming in from the side here. They'll start to move in. They've got the detection finger coming out as well, but the Mega now the turnaround. They will actually find themselves one for one. Now trying to remove the illusion spud line. He's going to get taken down by the Spectre. It's 2-for-1 trade at the moment. Deathboard hitting into mid one. It's going to be a third one for Wings. Very, very nice fight once again. And we saw Fnatic trying to get themselves in position to hold. But at this point of the game, Wings are just finding themselves the easier team fights each and every time.
They're doing a really good job of controlling that ancient area, though. They've dropped wards, and then Bounty Hunter was like there and got scattered out by the central ward. But everyone was there to back them up. The PL and the Witch Doctor were there to kill the Death Prophet, and then like everyone was there to just kill the Lion immediately.
Yeah, Wings is playing really, really well on all of their heroes, realizing what they need to do in order to create this chaos in the Fnatic lineup, and they've done so successfully throughout the entire game. Look at how farmed this PL actually is. He has the Diffusal Blade, a Yasha.
Oh, God, straight on there, jumping in onto the Fang, trying to get the damage out. Fang, Hextep as well, but he might actually just get himself away here, running, but the final chop from that brings him down. They will lose the line yet again. They're looking to move in for more, trying to change the Witch Doctor, but the Diffusal Blade for the PL, holding them back and now. Wings turning back in, trying to fight him against the Sven. He's going to pull one of them, then he goes down. Now he's dying for the final touch. The impetus flying through. DJ's trying to return this fight. He's a 3-for-2 at the moment, but Ohio, he's going to lose his life as well. Mid one, the last man standing here for the side of Fnatic at the moment, and he might die as well. The PL moves in. They'll take themselves down. Another ultra kill for Blink on the PL. And oh, is he going to get a rampage? They're going back in on DJ. Is he going to get it? He's going to try and find it. Rampage for the PL. 22 minutes into the game. At 8-1-8. I mean, this man, he's had an absolute stunning performance this. And I mean, we're seeing game 2, Wings hitting back insanely hard on Fnatic. It just seems they just don't know what to do and how to deal with this kind of play style. My goodness.
It's a bad time when you lose Rax 22 minutes versus Spectre.
Against the lineup of Wings, it's a really hard time when, with this lineup, like you would expect Fnatic to take down Raxes against Wings at this time. Wings probably went into this thinking, yeah, if we get a...
For him to deal with. Coconuts.
So many illusions now. 5 minutes, that's a dream scenario, and having a rampage on the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, he can actually deal with the Sven, and Sven is usually seen as a PL counter. And even like a slightly underfarmed Sven should be able to deal with him, but there's just too many things for him to deal with. Coconuts.
So many illusions now. Double Manta style, double Diffusal Blade, even a Diffusal 2 on the PL.
I mean, Sven needs that BKB so bad, but he's still quite a while away from it.
Ice with the Hand of Midas.
Yeah, I thought that after he bought back, he bought the Gloves of Haze. I was like, I think I know what that's going to be.
Fnatic, there's a double damage room quite handily.
This is how Ben plays support as well. He just picks up a Hand of Midas, runs around, farms the jungle. Nah, but Ice has been, or not Ice. Double Ice has been a great factor in this game. the Maledict again in this fight came off on the Sven, took so much HP off of him.
It's also just like a pretty good pick too. Like you have a lot of control over Sven before he gets his BKB, and it's a great counter towards the Enchantress, which they really had troubles with last game.
And then even though they don't really have lockdown or the specific disable control, because of track and then all the diffusal blades they have, there's nothing Sven can do. He's just getting kited, almost standing still.
Overall, though, this was just a severe lack of execution from Fnatic.
Oh, yeah,
Completely different
definitely.
from Game 1 and Game 2. I think Enchantress played really, really well, but the other components of the lineup
There we go, right onto the PL, and he's trying to take me out with the finger as well. He's falling low, and they'll get him. That's the PL on DJ. Has been Doom, though. The Ghost coming out. Could they try and come out on top of this one? Bahio getting taken down by Shadow. He's just too strong at this point. Triple kill for the Doom. They'll look for mid one as well, and they'll get it. 4 down on the side of Fnatic. It'll be a buyback for the Sven net. Trying to turn this one around, but no, it's too much. The Spectre and the PL far too fat for the side of Fnatic to deal with. A GG is called. We're going to a Game 3 here in this series of Wings. I mean, that was a totally different Wings to what we saw in Game 1. That was incredible play.
I think they executed really, really well. They knew exactly what they needed to do, as Ben pointed out. Spectre haunted the second he turned 6.
Yeah.
Doom was used constantly throughout the game. They just got so many kills when they really shouldn't have.
I feel like Fnatic didn't really utilize their first pick. It reminded me of eHome with the first pick Doom. It was just like, you pick this hero, and the lineup just doesn't feel like that hero isn't even in the lineup at all. And similar with the Beastmaster, like they first picked it along with the Enchantress, and Enchantress did her work in the early game, but
it was almost as if it was only DJ that lived up to the expectations that we come to have to this Fnatic lineup, because they've been so dominant throughout the past months. And only really DJ delivered on this Enchantress. He was 5-1 and opened up the map so much for them the first 10 minutes. So it was a bit surprising to see that they just completely faltered once Doom and Spectre came online.
Absolutely, and talking about the Spectre, we've obviously seen a few series this LAN where it's had a great performance, but once again, this time Shadow 5-0-21, involved in 26 of the team's 29 kills.
Great
That was
play.
pretty much textbook perfect Spectre play.
press R?
Absolutely insane stuff indeed. He loved it. He mashed the hell out of that R button. But we will indeed see more action as we're going to a Game 3 between Fnatic and Wings. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in a bit for more Dota 2.